Telltale Games, their assets got bought up by another company, and they're going to be relaunching over the next year, right? Um, and I can get into that.
Were
There's
you guys a fan of Telltale Games?
I've played more than a handful. I have quite a few in my library. I haven't played them all, but I own a
that's the
lot of them.
thing. You get like these humble bundles. You get all these Telltale games, and it's like
I mean, don't get me wrong; they're good quality games and stuff. I mean,
something that
their Walking Dead series like completely revitalized the adventure game genre. You know,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
My favorite was The Wolf Among Us. I totally went into it thinking this isn't going to be something that I like, and I was like,
Wolf
this is
Among
so
Us is
good.
really good. Yes.
It was really, really good.
I think a term that's used with the Telltale games, it's called choices matter. Okay, like depending on what you choose, there's different outcomes. But actually, I think maybe in some
But
of
at the
these
same
games,
time, though, that they gave you the choice, the illusion of choice,
some of them,
because
yeah, yeah.
I can give a couple examples from the first episode of The Walking Dead, for example, like whether or not you choose to save the person from the bear trap or not in the first episode of Walking Dead, it doesn't matter. They die. They die and end up killing somebody anyways. Whether or not whoever you choose to save in the convenience store in the first episode of Walking Dead, it doesn't matter. The other person dies anyway later on in the same episode. So it's like they get some of these things give you the illusion of choice, but no matter what, both characters end up dying.
So if there's someone that you have a chance to save, even if you save them, they're gonna die some other way that there's like no option. So it's you're just like you would still
Postponing the
all
inevitable.
postponing their red shirts and they're they're
Like,
gonna
so the bear trap, for example, if you save the guy from the bear trap, he turns into a zombie and bites his friend. If you don't save like, okay, so if you save him from the bear trap, you bring him back to camp, and he turns into a zombie and bites his friend. If you don't save him from the bear trap, his friend tries to save him, and he turns into a zombie and bites his friend.
while he's in the bear trap.
Yeah. Then another one was the convenience store thing, which I believe is at the beginning of the game. Like you have the option to save either the hot girl or the fat nerd, and from being mauled by zombies, and then
Hot girl's a trap. Save the fat nerd.
either way though, like so there's a suspected traitor in the group, and one of the people basically takes matters into her own hands around like the halfway point of the episode and shoots whoever you did save in the convenience store, thinking that they were the traitor. So no matter what, both die.
Last we heard from Telltale Games, games were being removed from various store platforms and licenses were expiring. Now, a company called LCG Entertainment has acquired the trademark Telltale Games with some of its associated properties. The deal took 6 months of negotiations with another company who had been assigned ownership from creditors of the original Telltale company. After having paid off the bankruptcy vultures, the new Telltale retains licensed IP rights to The Wolf Among Us and Batman, while fully keeping original Telltale IP rights to game series like Puzzle Agent. I'd never heard of Puzzle Agent, and I just gotta mention this. And I think I get into this later, but most of the best known Telltale games, they're licensed from other, successful things. Like there's a Back to the Future Telltale game. There's
Game of
a
Thrones, Jurassic Park, Tale of the
Borderlands.
Borderlands. Uh,
Of all the Telltale games, I played the Borderlands one the most. I played the full
Those are
first
really good too. And they're so funny.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so CEO Jamie Ottley says there are some other expiring licenses that we're looking at. As most of Telltale's best known games are licensed, it creates problems to continue them. Well, that's Ottley just said the other part. He didn't say the last sentence. The Walking Dead license is now owned by Skybound Games and has plans for the future with it. The status of Borderlands, Game of Thrones, Guardians of the Galaxy, Minecraft are publicly unknown. So they probably want to get those if they can, but if they don't have enough scratch or resources, they they're probably going to hold off, or they
yeah,
might
see,
not
that
do
was
anything
that
with
was
those.
the original Telltale Games problem was they went too hard too fast on too many different properties, and that's what ended up bankrupting them. So like I would suggest to these new owners trying to reform Telltale Games, like, take a step back, go slow. Don't try to rush into snatching up so many IPs at once.
There was a plan for a Stranger Things themed game, which sounds really up the alley of like what these guys did well. There was a plan for a Stranger Things game, but before they imploded. But since then, a new deal would need to be made with Netflix because the rights for a that Telltale had, they expired. I guess.
Hmm.
I guess they didn't have the rights very long, but yeah, that expired. Okay, so some workers from the original Telltale will be offered freelance jobs in setting up the new company with a possibility of full-time positions in the future. Yeah, this is Otley again. We're going to stay small over the next 6 months, and we will work from more of a distributed development pipeline than Telltale was known for, Otley said. We'll focus on tools, technology, and design in-house. Some things like animation and motion capture will be done with the right partnerships externally. It sounds like the episodic nature of their games will continue, but a shift in pacing will be in order, according to Ottley. This is a different world from a media consumption standpoint. We need to look at how people like to entertain themselves. I like the idea of binge watching. So that's something he brings up. Binge watching, a Telltale game. Like, I'm not really sure what that means. I'm almost thinking like, oh, would there be like an option where you don't even freaking play the game, you just like
Well, I
watch?
think he's just talking like he likes being able to go through the whole thing from start to finish, as compared to, like, they might still release it episodically, but they'll probably release it all at once instead of over time.
Okay. And you know what? That just reminds me, a company just releasing stuff episode by episode. No, that could lead to development problems. Like maybe they're releasing episodes and they don't have the back end done yet, and it just
Basically, what
stuff.
happened with the final season of Walking Dead from Telltale Games. They released like the first two episodes and then they closed shop. And it was up to Skybound Games to bring everybody in and get it finished, which is what they did.
So okay, if that's what binge watching means in this context, that's good. Have episodes, have stuff divided into episodes, but just release the whole freaking game with all the episodes at once. That seems smart. That sounds reasonable. That doesn't sound like you're going to spread yourself out thin. It's good. Okay, so Telltale failed beforehand because they had committed to too many different projects and weren't able
Which
to
is
see
what I
them
was
through.
saying earlier.
quality control diminished from there. It should be a slow go to get things on the right track. So that's the story about Telltale Games. But there were two other game release stories.
I just want to say, but I just want to
Okay.
touch on this because we were talking about this last night, and I just want to say, like, the people that are restarting up Telltale are sketchy as fuck.
Oh, you know
Like,
what?
I am going to call this out right now because
I didn't write about this.
because based off the history that these people have, the CEO of this company has worked on cash
Mobile
grab
games.
mobile games before, based off other properties like Duck Dynasty, for example. And the vice president of this new company is a marketing director for an ex marketing director or something from another company. And this just screams to me like they are going to nickel and dime you. There's probably going to be microtransactions and stuff, and it kind of worries me a bit. And I'm just like, I don't trust this. I think this is shady. I think something. I think like, I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But at the same time, looking at these people's past work and what they're saying about like bringing ex Telltale devs on as like
Freelancers.
freelancers, it's just like.
Which I'm really curious.
Just remember how shady J. Jonah Jameson was in Spider-Man. He never really hired Peter Parker on steady gig. He always had him as freelance because he could like pay him less without benefits
and kind of bully him a bit,
bully him. Yeah, it's I saw this video that was very, very critical of the people taking over Telltale, and he was saying that I saw this video saying that freelancers could potentially get conned. They could get paid as well as temps. If you know what I mean. Okay, man?
Basically,
like
underpaid for for their talent level.
Yes,
and it's just like it seems very sketchy considering he's willing to bring them on as freelancers and possibly give them a permanent position if things go well. Like,
well, they already got fucked over the first time. Do they even want to come back? Like, I would like to hear from them.
That seems very. It just seems very sketchy, and it's just like it's. I like I said, I hope I'm wrong. I don't want to be right in this regard. I'd like to see like some type of Telltale being reborn and stuff like that in some form. We kind of already did when they went to Skybound and finished The Walking Dead. Like, in my opinion, they should just stay there and do their work there. If Skybound ends up doing more adventure style games in the like kind of the Telltale way. So, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know.
We're all very skeptical about the mobile game development sector in getting involved in stuff that previously didn't have any involvement.
A or AA game development. I mean, we already have EA and Activision nickel and diming us for every fucking red cent we got. So it's like, I'd rather not get another party involved.